Good morning, JP. How are you today?
Oh, what's going on?
It's a beautiful day. I'm happy to be alive. I saw a bird yesterday through my window, and I'm hoping that I have another visitor today.
You put a little bird seed out there and that will increase your probability.
That's a great idea. Have like a little bird feeder.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you have hummingbirds out there?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, that can be nice too. They're fun.
Yeah, I love hummingbirds. How's your week been, JP?
It's been great. What an exciting week. We have wrapped up programs and we've kicked off programs, and it was a holiday week, so it's like let's go.
Yeah, that's awesome. I am so excited to see the evolution and to be a part of the evolution from the boot camps to bounty hacks to developer programs to accreditation programs.
Yeah.
It's been pretty awesome. And to watch the team grow, I remember having to juggle all of these bounty hacks by myself.
Right.
And I am so grateful and so happy that you and Nick have been taking such a huge role in honestly executing and just making this better. Um, our growth is up, our numbers are up, our
Right.
retention is up. It's
Yes.
it's fucking cool.
It's
Oops.
awesome. Well, before we get into that, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I've been back home for about a week now. I say that because I'm usually traveling out somewhere in the world.
Right.
And it's been quite nice, but I'm preparing actually to move to Mexico City. So I'm quite excited to be doing that soon. And then, of course, we have Hack Boston coming up. So I'll be in Boston in a couple of weeks. That's happening the September 23rd to the 25th. So if you're in the East Coast area, come join us. We've partnered with EZA. We have some incredible sponsors like Algorand, Clayton, BNB Chain, Cartesi. We have who else? The Graph, Moonbeam, FIO. I feel like I'm forgetting someone.
Um, we had a new one, right? Um, a Web 2 company, right? Was it
Oh, Fidelity. That's right.
Fidelity? Yeah,
Good point. I think that's all of them.
it's amazing.
So
It's really amazing.
yeah, it's really great. I am so grateful to have been able to work with the EZA team. They are on it.
They're great. Phil and Dom are amazing. I It speaks to the power of networking. It was just like a random meetup. I think we were in New York City, and you were like, "Hey JP, I want you to meet these EZA people." I hoofed it across New York City and met them at like a Solana thing or something. It was a chain. It was L2, and we just talked for 30 minutes, and then from there it was like a Telegram, and then let's do this. Let's make this
Now
thing
we're
happen.
hacking
And
together.
now we're hacking together. Yeah, this
Yeah, that's
just speaks to the power of networking, right, and making connections and being open to the possibilities of what can be.
absolutely. I think that's a great point. I feel like I'm the queen of networking and I have seen the power of where this could lead. So I totally agree with you there. Now, tell me a little bit about the programs that just wrapped. What is it that you were working
Yeah, I feel like we need an interactive calendar that's like, "Hey, this is
on?
what's
We
going on."
really do.
Okay, so we closed up Emoja 3, which is we now call them outreach hacks. So it's our outreach hack. We closed that. A number of great contestants and a lot of really interesting projects that were submitted. So you'll be able to see the highlights on our YouTube channel. So we Nick went through, curated all of them, took the very best ones, and put the best demos up on our YouTube. So it's a thrilling watch. So definitely check that out. Then today, just before this, an hour ago, we wrapped up our second Ascent cohort. So we had like 30 students graduated. So we had about a 30% graduation rate. And when most people say about, they mean like 26%, but I actually mean like 32%, but about 30. So like it feels really good. We had 14 or 15 students submit an independent project, and those just blow me away. So they go above and beyond what we do in the boot camps and create, like, they're very active in the Discord. They dig into the documentation and create something new. So we had NFT dApps were like NFT marketplaces. We had a couple insurance marketplace
Hmm,
applications, and then a couple fun games. So yeah, it was really exciting to see the work that they did. A lot of two students from our boot camp already got jobs. So we had one
nice.
that hired as took some contract work, freelancing, and another one got started with a full-time company. So it's
That's
amazing.
incredible.
Yeah,
Do you know if it's a Web3 company or Web2?
Web three, Web three.
Nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
yep.
You know, I'm always so impressed. Well, first, I just want to say congratulations to um, all of you who literally took this leap of faith, decided you were going to try something that was challenging, invest in yourself, and then get through the finish line. I'm
Yes.
always so impressed by how many people come in with some development knowledge or full stack knowledge with maybe 1 or 2 years, but sometimes even 3 months to 6 months of experience. They go
Yep.
through the boot camp and then they end up building a full fledged blockchain application in
Yep.
less than 2 months. Like, how insane is that?
Yeah. We've got students with grit. We had at least two students that I know for sure, that finished a Udacity nano degree at the same time that they finished the boot camp. So just
Amazing.
an incredible level of grit and commitment, just like submitting themselves to the pain of the process of learning hard technologies.
Yeah, I think that's another really good thing is like a great point in general. Um, Because it's like it's not easy. I've been trying to get through my course for the last few months, and I just like sometimes I'm like, "Ugh, I'm so frustrated. I can't get through this. And it's not even because I don't like understand, it's because it's just like so tedious for me
Yeah.
that it's like something I don't want to do.
We'll get you in the next boot camp. It's easier together.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I'm just making excuses.
So I'm insane, and just kind of shift the subject a little bit, but yeah, it's on the subject. So I've developed a 6 month accelerated, like an intensive computer science program for myself. So
Okay.
the idea is to like get the education of a master's degree in 6 months, just like by turning coal into diamonds. I made a plan. I submitted it to Jay, our CTO, and then he came back with something even more rigorous. So
Okay.
I felt like crying a little bit, but it just wiped away the tears and put together a new plan. And yeah, so we're executing on that. So like six months, 6 months to live or die.
I love that. Okay. So you said 6 months or 6 weeks?
6 months. This is pretty intensive. It involves like 6 college textbooks, basically. So a book roughly every month. Starts with how to program designs, and then we go into compilers and language, different languages. It will involve like coding with like C and JavaScript, Racket and Coq, which is COQ, and yeah, so it's pretty. The goal is to take that then and to carve it down into something that's maybe a little more reasonable and turn
Okay.
it into like an engineer training program for full stack developers who didn't get a computer science degree but want to be able to speak in the language of computer scientists and have like a deeper understanding of how a computer works. And but maybe they have a full-time job or they have a family, maybe they're a little older, right? And but they want that knowledge.
Amazing. And are we planning to launch that as something that's offered through one of our programs, or more so to businesses who are interested in accelerating their engineers?
The original idea is that it would start as an internal engineering program, as a way to help our engineers upskill themselves. The world today is, for a long time now, it's just not been like, hey, go to college for 4 years and then coast in a career for 40. It's more of we're always learning in order to stay advanced with the technology and to stay competitive. It takes a new mindset. And so this is like part of that is to give back to our engineers who work so hard. And here's a program that you could take to upskill yourself, to make yourself more competitive, more valuable. And then the goal is that by being the type of company that provides that type of training to our engineers, that we keep our engineers around longer.
That's awesome. Keep them around longer, but also keep them upskilling so that if they do want to leave, they can go get better jobs.
Yeah, or spin up a new blockchain company or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But the goal is for me is to offer the best kind of workplace possible, whereas where you're not going to get these kind of benefits anywhere else, right?
I think that's great. I personally love learning things, and having them done as a team can go such a long way. And that's something I learned from Chris, actually, is the whole concept of education and how that in itself is not scalable. Because I used to think we could, when I was running the bounty hacks, I was like, well, maybe there's a way for us to develop an app and people can just go through the program, and we'll have a higher success rate.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that really stuck with me was when Chris mentioned this concept of like education is not scalable. I literally slept on it when he said that. I was like, I want to disagree with this, but I'm having a hard time disagreeing with it because of everything else that I've experienced during the programs. Is like, okay, people come to you and ask you questions. People need to have the interaction on Discord or through Zoom calls. And the more Zoom calls I have with someone, sometimes they end up sticking around longer. They come to future programs. And that is so valuable. And that's the part that's not scalable, is this whole idea of the social interaction and having enough mentors, having enough educators on. It's like it still requires this human effort that is so valuable. And I'm totally there with you. So I think there's something special about connecting with people and also connecting with them in like a way that's going to motivate them to keep moving forward with
Right.
their own education or whatever that might be.
Right. It's something that we actually want to implement in the next Ascent cohort, is just like community office hours, where there's not necessarily a goal of like a technical goal. It's more about just hanging out and getting to know one another. And then instead of someone like Nick or myself leading that, actually bringing in a community member who's active in the Discord and is invested in learning Reach and working with Reach, and have them lead that type of a session.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's invaluable. Is that the right word?
Invaluable. Yeah, that's a great word.
Okay.
So what else is on the calendar?
Well, I do want to also give a shout out to, I think you already did, but Decentralized Emoji 3, they wrapped up. I had the great pleasure of interviewing some of those gentlemen yesterday. I got to connect with Sunday and Jake and Rithik. All have created really interesting projects. I believe Sunday and Jake are the ones that created the bridge between Ethereum and Algorand with Reach. I was blown away by that concept, and I think it's really incredible. I'm really excited to see what gets bridged through their project. I want to call it a company. And then Rathik's project was a staking mechanism to wager bets between someone playing chess. And I thought that was really neat too. It's like, oh, there's a chess game that's like fully live on Algorand where you can wager bets, and like that in itself is so neat. Like I can't imagine the amount of mathematics that goes into creating a chess game. So that fascinates me.
Yeah.
And then we're also kicking off the Malaysian boot camp.
We kicked
right?
it off on Monday. So yeah, on Labor Day, we kicked that off. of course, that's in Malaysia, so it's not their Labor Day, but we've got like 6 universities that have come together. So there's professors, students are all participating in this. On Tuesday, Nick delivered the first lesson, and we broke Zoom. So we maxed out our Zoom room
That's amazing.
capacity. I opened up a Google Meet as like an overflow room and shared my screen to what Nick was doing. So we made it
That's
work.
incredible.
But we're prepared for the next one now. We've bought where we've licensed new software that's going to allow up to like 250 participants in our rooms. We think these are the popularity of these programs keep growing, and the frequency at which we are offering them is also increasing. And so I think my trajectory is that I see that these outreach hacks and the ascents are going to become a real, like a critical component of what we do from the DevX side of things that reach.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm so excited about that. And it looks like Malaysia is also just the beginning of where we're going in regards to our Asian impact, which I'm
Yes.
really excited is we started with Australia, focusing on the APAC region, then had the great fortune of meeting Women in Blockchain Association through Karen from Algo Hub. And so we've been able to work with Ida at Weba to focus on the Malaysian area, Malaysian students, universities, as you mentioned. And that's not it. After these programs are over, we're going into Singapore and the Philippines, which is going to be absolutely phenomenal. I
Yes.
also want to give a huge shout out to the applicants for Malaysia because um, I mean, one, it's an awesome opportunity, something to even be able to balance while you're in school
Right.
is huge because they're doing school full time and still doing this program.
Right.
Um, but that's not it. There's apparently a rumor that 50% of these applicants are women, which is insane to me.
Yeah.
Like that is unheard of.
Let's go, Malaysia. Yeah.
So cool.
It's great.
Um, Yeah, and then what else is next, AP?
Well, we have Singapore with the Hack House.
That's right, with Algorand
But before that, if we can try to go in chronological order, when does Bogota happen? I
in
said that wrong.
October.
In October. Okay, so before that, we've got a hack with Reach. Reach's first hack, official hack, right?
The EZA hack
With
in
EZA.
Boston?
Yep.
Yeah, we have Hack
Boston Block
Boston.
Hack Boston is so it's immediately after the Boston Blockchain Week, which people should definitely go to our friends at Quibic Labs are putting that together in Quincy. And then as soon as that ends, kicking off Boston Hack with Reach and Easy A, and that's going to be in Cambridge.
Yes, it's going to be at the Soch building. So if you want to learn more about that, you can visit hackboston.xyz and register there and learn more about our schedule, where it's going to be, and just get all the information you need. So we're quite thrilled about that. We're expecting over 300 students to come and join us. The Soch building is huge, so there's going to be plenty of room for all these students to wander around. I'm so excited for that. It's going to be our first hackathon as Reach in person, so that should be excellent.
Yeah.
We've done plenty of virtual hacks. We've participated in other hackathons, but we've never had our own. So again, major shout out to Easy A for partnering with us to make this possible. And I hope to see other incredible applications being built with Reach there as well, considering some people will probably be building dApps for the first time. So I'm really excited to learn more about that. And then after that, actually on Sunday night from that event, I'm flying out to Singapore myself. JP, I will see you there.
See you there.
We are both going, I just
Yeah.
realized. And
Yeah.
we're going to be hanging out with the Algorand Foundation for their Greenhouse Hacks events, Greenhouse Talks events. And then Chris and I, Chris, if you don't know, is our fearless CEO, founder of Reach. We're going to be going to Token 2049, focusing on expansion amongst protocols so that Reach can continue to flourish and become integrated with all of the low-level programming languages.
Amazing. So that's full slate. And then in October, as you mentioned, you're going to be hacking in ETH Bogota.
ETH Bogota.
I believe Estuardo and Lucas from our graphic content marketing team are going to be there as well.
Correct. So these are our fellow Latinos coming to Bogota to also come hack. Then after East Bogota, there is DevCon. DevCon is Ethereum's largest developer conference, and that's actually, I think, their only conference that they host every year. It's put on by the Ethereum Foundation, and it's sort of put on by the community, really, because everyone sort of has to like bid their section or an area, and then there's a forum where people can upvote whether these people do get like their own little hub. And I think that's pretty neat too. It's like a self-curated conference, which is so awesome. Like, let's talk about decentralization at its finest for a moment. Like, Ethereum does that really well.
It's amazing. And you've been really busy as well. So I've noticed that you've got a new podcast that you've been hosting. You want to talk about that and plug that a little?
Sure. So while actually Estuardo and I were in Mexico, we created like the first iteration of something that I've been working on behind the scenes for a while, and it's this learn to earn platform. The concept behind that is to onboard the next million users to blockchain and Web3 through basic fundamentals, while also getting into some of the intricacies as you level up. The idea is that you earn an NFT. This NFT becomes your character. It's going to be a soul-bound token that is not transferable, so it only belongs to you, also attached to your identity. So the idea is that you have to learn about DID, decentralized identities, and also that way to ensure that there aren't bots going after this application and trying to take all the tokens. So long story short, the whole concept behind that is tied into the weekly podcast. Is basically the weekly podcast is around, it's called Non-Fungible Thursday, and it's really just featuring founders or artists and creators in the Web3 space to better understand their journeys while also getting some insight about what they know, because the world of blockchain is so expansive. It's huge. There's so many opportunities. It's going to continue to evolve and innovate. So I think it's really important for people to understand that there is a place for them, no matter who they are or what they do. So if you're an artist, there is a place for you. If you're someone who likes to write, there's a place for you. If you're a developer, there's absolutely a place for you. If you're business minded, there's a place for you to come and bring operations or come and help reorganize DAOs. Like, even if you're like a healer, there's a place for you. With this new age of technology, we sort of have to bring back that level of consciousness and awareness to the space. So it's really important to have people like that also involved. So that's kind of the goal with it, is to showcase just the different flavors of individuals in the space, while also inviting engagement, interaction amongst people who have some questions or want to learn more. It's also kind of tied to my monthly newsletter, where I talk about just all the events that we have going on, while also providing resources, things like terminologies, basic info like what is DeFi, what are DAOs, what are NFTs. So yeah, I'm hoping to launch parts of that hopefully soon, but it's a work in progress. Good things take time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this
Thanks for
is great.
asking.
Yeah, there's so much. I mean, it's kind of cliche to say, but there's so much going on in the space. But then there's something for everyone. Like, as you say, whether you're a designer, marketer, business developer, a creative, more professionally minded. Like there is a space for you. There's a space for you in hackathons and forming teams. Like some of the best success I've had in hackathons has been with a mixed team, right? You have a mix of like full stack developers, maybe a backend engineer, artists, a marketer, project manager. You bring these different personalities together toward a common goal and give them 36 hours. And it is amazing what can be built in that time.
Yeah, absolutely. Which brings me back to the importance of having non-technicals in hackathons. It's so important. I feel like I didn't value that before, just because I myself didn't think that it was possible for me to participate. But you're absolutely right. Time and time again, I've seen creative people get involved, or someone who's more of a different industry, like a marketer or biz dev type individual, but they understand sort of what a judge might want to see, because a judge is thinking about where the project is going,
Right.
not just like what the specs are for the technological
Right.
input. So
It feels
absolutely.
like a nascent idea. Right. I don't hear a lot of people talking about that, like the importance of having mixed teams. And maybe you have had a different experience, but like I hear us talking about it, I hear a lot of other people, and I remember some of my earliest experiences like with different hacks was like, how much experience do you have with this programming language? And that was the questions were all around the technicals, right? It wasn't questions about like, well, if you don't have technical experience, what kind of like graphic design experience do you have, or what other assets do you bring to a team, right? And like the best you could do if you weren't you didn't like claim to be very technical in a low level language was maybe you'd be invited to be a volunteer.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, Estuardo and I actually experienced something like this in Mexico.
Yeah.
We went up to a judging table, and the moment we told them we didn't have code because we couldn't find a developer, one of the guys literally looked at us, looked away, and started typing away in his computer. And it was like so disregarded by it didn't matter what we built, we could have fucking changed the world.
Right.
But because he didn't have code, this guy literally ignored us.
Amazing.
His name's Miguel. He works for WorldCoin. He's highly technical. He's like a huge in open source, and it's like super like intelligent guy. But it's just like it was rather sad to see that someone would be so dismissive.
All right, we've called you out. Come talk to us.
I wish him well. I think he's awesome and like so smart. I just like was so appalled by that reaction. I was like, oh, you can't even say hi.
Without it's the problems that we are solving in the world today have become global. We've solved all the easy problems, let's say, or like we could say like we have solved like 80% of all the easy problems, or another way to say it could be that we've solved all the easy problems 80% of the way, right? But now we're working on big problems, and these big problems are global problems, and it takes a lot of because it's global. You have to a lot of different people in the world. People do not think like an American does, right? Or like maybe is like uh, someone from other part of the world, and like I don't have all the answers, and it's very like egotistical. It would be for me to think that way. So we need people from around the world, from different
Absolutely.
backgrounds, different experiences, and then people from um, different asset backgrounds as well. Like, so whether that's technical or professional or artistic, whatever it might be. And we need to solve these problems together. It is often that, like, the old stereotype of the nerd hacking away, coding away in their basement, uh, all on their own, like, that does not exist in the real world today in probably like 99% of the cases, right? It is teams working together on distributed systems on like a GitHub or a GitLabs or whatever it might be. And they are working together, and you need a lot of different mindsets. The best engineers, in my opinion, are those who are also creative, or an engineer who can work with a creative and allow their work together with their strengths and allow one another to lean against one another, against their weaknesses, right? To help support one another.
Yeah, that was beautifully said. I also think that we have the great privilege of being around organizations and individuals who are thinking about diversity, and not just like the human aspect, but even in the talent pool. Um, so I think we should be mindful of that as well, right? Because people are so used to being part of their echo chambers that it becomes hard to go beyond what you're comfortable with. So I'm so grateful for us to have been able to get involved with organizations like the Algo Foundation, who thinks about this very much, HerDAO, who thinks about this all the time,
Right.
and even ourselves as a team. I feel like we've been able to influence the whole concept of opening doors and allowing other people to have the same opportunities, or opportunities they otherwise wouldn't have, if they were anyone else. So
Right. Right. By supporting people, you give them the opportunity to flourish. Just a little water and sun, you know, and
true.
who knows what people can become.
I think we've covered all of the topics, of events that we have coming up until the end of the year. I do hope we can get some of the Easy A guys and some of the developers from the past hacks in one of these for our interviews coming up until the end of the year. We
Yeah,
have a lot of great talent and people to learn from. So I hope that's what you'll get. Um, no, I don't hope. You will be getting
you
this
will. You
at the end
will.
of
We're going to talk to our hackathon colleagues, our team participants. It'd be great to get teams in and talk about their experience. And then we've got Paul Keen that we've lined up to talk about different forms of verification. So that should be a really interesting and technical conversation. And yeah, holidays are fast approaching, so this can be a great time to come together and have conversations.
Absolutely. Well, JP, it was a pleasure chatting with you as always.
Yeah,
Um,
genuinely have missed your company, so it's been great.
I'll see you soon.
We'll see you.
Well, there you have it, friends. Thanks for tuning in. If you liked this episode, or if you hated it, leave a comment and let us know why. We're genuinely interested and curious on how we can improve, but also covering topics that might be insightful to you. Here at Reach, we really value education and the growth and the scalability of blockchain, through its builders and not who are the core. So thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, reshare. You can follow me on Twitter at NFT Mommy, and you can follow JP at
The real JP Miller. Ciao.